All right, so I alluded to this earlier. You have to see the level of chaos that the Mark Meadows Trump riot texts are causing in right-wing media. So let me reset the story for you first, and then we're going to just jump into something. It's genuinely delightful. I don't know how else to describe it. Earlier this week, Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney, member of the House committee investigating the January 6th riots, read a bunch of text messages reportedly sent from Fox News hosts and Donald Trump Jr. to Trump's then chief of staff, Mark Meadows. And despite going on air that day and for weeks downplaying the riots, it might have been Antifa, it was BLM, it wasn't real Trump supporters. I didn't actually see any Trump supporter being violent, as well as Trump's own son and all of these Fox News hosts doing that. On that day, they knew it was terrible and they knew it was Trump's problem, and they were trying to get Trump on TV to make a statement, tell him to send everybody home. It exposes that everything they did after the fact was just dishonest cleanup, and they knew exactly who was there that day and that it was very bad for Donald Trump, period. They knew it. They lied on TV to help Trump. No surprise. It's been confirmed. Now, all of the different factions are starting to go at each other because they don't know how to manage this. Last night, Sean Hannity, one of the people implicated in this entire fiasco, had a segment where he invited on Geraldo Rivera and this total right-wing nut, Dan Bongino, who just defends Trump always and forever. There's no situation where Bongino won't defend Trump. And Geraldo, even though he was a Trump supporter, is a friend of Trump, whatever, Geraldo actually stands up sort of for what's right and says to Hannity, listen, because Hannity's continuing to downplay the riots. He says, this was a riot. It was inspired by Trump supporters, period. And Hannity tries to interrupt, and Geraldo says, wait a second, Sean, think back to when you sent those texts. Think back to your frame of mind when you realized these are Trumpists doing this, and this is violent, and this is terrible, and you texted Mark Meadows. Think back to that. And Bongino just loses it on Geraldo. Check this out.
Was the obvious difference between the riot that happened on January 6th and the 500 odd that you correctly cite as concerning and damaging to America, to our psyche, to our physical well-being, is that this was a riot that was unleashed, incited, and inspired by the President of the United States, which targeted
Geraldo, we're not
the
that's your
heart of
opinion.
American democracy.
The President didn't say, no, you can, that's your
targeted
opinion. The President said peacefully, no, stop. The President said peacefully, patriotically march to the Capitol. That's your opinion. I don't even want to go down that road. That's not the question tonight. The question is this corrupt committee. The question is why this riot and not 574 other riots? The question is there any privacy in this country anymore, or do they get to release thousands more of individual private citizens' texts?
I beg you, Sean, to remember the frame of mind you were in when you wrote that text on January 6th, and when Laura did, and when Brian did, and when Don Jr. did. Remember the concern you had. Remember the frustration at our beloved 45th president.
Yeah, because I wanted a riot to end.
How can he be doing this? Why doesn't he say something? Why?
Okay, but the point is, he did.
You saw unfolding before your unfolding before your very eyes an attack on democracy.
Let me give it to Dan.
An attack on the Constitution. An attack on the capital of the United States of America.
He said peacefully, and then he did do it. Dan, you have less than a minute. We're running out of time.
Geraldo, we've been arguing about this forever. The backstabbing of the president you're engaging in is really disgusting. And it's really vile that you pretend to be this guy's friend and you continue to do this.
I resent that. I supported Donald Trump.
It's on tape.
I don't care if you resent it. Until he abandoned democracy.
Let me respond.
He abandoned the election results. And he refused
peacefully.
He refused to accept the will of the American people.
You heard it.
Nobody can hear you.
You heard
we gotta leave it there.
And you stabbed him in the back. You heard it.
Thank you. Thank you both.
So it's not backstabbing. It's telling the truth. Geraldo is saying nothing controversial. It was a Trumpist riot. Sean Hannity knew it and texted Mark Meadows at the time to try to stop it. And now he's playing a completely different version of events on TV. day in and day out. That's really it. Like, there's no more story. And Hannity pulls in Bongino to run interference, and they're starting to just go after each other. Geraldo is no sage, right? When Geraldo is the voice of reason, you know things have gotten a little bit wacky, but this is what you want to see. This committee has already done so much good in all that it has exposed, and all these people are more than willing to go after each other to save themselves. Remember that if Republicans had just gone along with the original committee, it is far less likely that all of this same damaging information would have come out. Why do I say that? Well, the original committee idea was, I believe these are the right numbers, 5 Democrats, 5 Republicans. When they would send out subpoenas, the subpoenas would have to be signed off on not only by the Democratic chair of the committee, but by the Republican vice chair of the committee. It was going to be truly a committee that was not just going to have carte blanche to go fishing wherever they want. Republicans, and I'm not saying that that's what it is now, but Republicans said, we're not going to participate. We're protesting this entire thing unless we're also looking into, the shooting of Steve Scalise 4 years ago or whatever else. We don't want to participate. So Nancy Pelosi found some Republicans willing to be on it. Liz Cheney's on it. Adam Kinzinger is on it. Don't remember if there's any other Republicans, but at least the 2 of them. And now you have a situation in which they, by virtue of Republicans saying, we're basically opting out of this thing, and at least at the party level, we don't support it, even if you found a couple of our people to be on this committee. Now they are actually doing really good work and exposing incredible things. There was a PowerPoint for the coup. All these people who for months have been doing media saying it wasn't what it was, on that day knew exactly what it was and were texting Mark Meadows and saying, please help to stop it. So it's excellent that the committee is doing this. It's exactly the type of infighting and bedlam that we want to see within the Republican Party. Bongino, Hannity, Geraldo, have them all fighting. That's exactly what we want. They will turn on each other to protect themselves. That's abundantly clear. If you say, hey, the riot was inspired by Trump, which obviously it was, they accuse their own of backstabbing. And Geraldo is or was a Trumpist. I mean, he makes it clear even in that segment. The difference is that Hannity and Bongino will never admit that Trump did anything wrong. Geraldo will admit it, and he'll still say, he is or was my friend, and I did or do support him. It takes nearly 80-year-old Geraldo Rivera to apparently realize that what took place on January 6th was not just partisan bickering or a rally. It was something much darker and much more sinister. And hopefully this level of chaos will continue. One of our sponsors is Athletic Greens, which makes comprehensive daily nutrition really simple. People are busy. We're not always getting effective, balanced nutrition from the food we eat. We sometimes are combining all sorts of different vitamins, supplements, different things that may be relevant to us. AG1 by Athletic Greens is a delicious drink that just simplifies the entire thing. It's one product. You get all of the things you need, 75 vitamins, minerals, and whole food sourced ingredients. It's a multivitamin, it's a multi-mineral, it's a probiotic, green food blend in one daily serving. Really easy, high quality, bioavailable ingredients can fill those nutritional gaps in your diet, and they can help with gut health and digestion and support you in other ways. And they can replace multiple products and pills that you might be taking. It's just one drink, really simple. I've been enjoying the AG1 drink by Athletic Greens. Tastes good, helps me get everything I'm trying to get. Athletic Greens is giving my audience a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase when you go to athleticgreens.com/Pacman. The link is in the podcast notes.